I have a very special story for you today, grandchildren, and it's called Dogger. And it's about this stuffy right here, this cute little dog. Dogger. Once there was a soft brown toy called Dogger. One of his ears pointed upwards and the other flopped over. His fur was worn in places because he was quite old. He belonged to Dave. Here's Dave. You see Dave? We'll look at all the pictures, okay? There's Dave giving Dogger a hug. Do you see that? Dave was very fond of Dogger. He took him everywhere. Sometimes he gave him rides in a trolley. Think Dogger liked that? Sometimes he pulled him along on a lead made of string, like a real dog. See Dave and Dogger going for a walk like that? When it was cold, he wrapped him up in a bit of blanket. That was thoughtful, wasn't it? Now and again, Dave's mom said that Dogger was getting much too dirty. You see all the pictures? She showed Dave how to wash him in a bowl of soapy water. Then they hung him up by his tail on the washing line to dry. It's a good idea, isn't it? Now that's not Dave, that's Dave's sister. Dave's baby brother Joe liked hard toys. He liked putting them in his mouth and biting on them because he was getting teeth. Dave's big sister Bella took 7 teddies to bed with her every night. She had to sleep right up against the wall to stop herself from falling out. Shall we count the teddies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say her bed is quite full, wouldn't you? This is Bella's bed, and then Dave's bed is over here. But Dave liked only Dogger. So Bella has 7 teddies, and Joe likes toys he can chew on. But Dave's very special toy is Dogger. Okay? One afternoon, Dave and Mom set out to collect Bella from school. Mom took Joe in the pushchair, and Dave took Dogger. Next to the school gate where the mums waited was a playing field. Some men with ladders were putting up colored flags. Mom said that there was going to be a summer fair to get money to buy things for the school. Oh, that'll be fun, right? Dave pushed Dogger up against the railings to show him what was going on. So here's all the different moms and the small children waiting for the big children to come out of school. And that lady right there is Dave's mom, and you can see Joe. Joe is the baby right here. He's in his chair. And then here's Dave. See Dave? And he's holding Dogger up high and kind of pushing him through the railings so Dogger can see what's happening. And these men here are putting up all these flags and things and decorating because there's going to be this summer fair. All right? Just then the children started to come out of school, An ice cream van, there it is, an ice cream van came round the corner playing a tune. Oh, have you ever had that happen in the summer? Where you can hear the ice cream truck coming? Just makes you hungry for ice cream, doesn't it? When you hear that truck, it makes you want to have some ice cream right away. Bella ran up with her satchel flying. Mom, can we have an ice cream? Mom gave her the money for 2 cones. Joe didn't have a whole ice cream to himself because he was too dribbly. That's funny, isn't it? If he has his own ice cream, it'll just dribble out of his mouth. So he'll get licks from Bella's. See Bella here? And he'll get licks from Dave's. They'll share their ice cream with them. And see the other children lining up to get ice cream from the ice cream truck? That is a special thing to do when it's nice and warm, isn't it? They're all excited because they're going to have some ice cream. On the way home, Dave walked beside the pushchair, giving Joe licks off his ice cream. That was nice, wasn't it? Joe kicked his feet about and shouted for more in between licks. It's nice of Dave to share. They all look very happy, don't they? At tea time, Dave was rather quiet. In the bath, he was even quieter. At bedtime, he said, "I want Dogger." But Dogger was nowhere to be found. Uh-oh. That's a problem, isn't it? Dave doesn't look very happy there. He's happy when he's eating his ice cream. But here in this picture, he's not looking very happy at all. Where could Dogger be? Well, let's see. They're going to do some looking. Mom looked under the bed. She didn't find Dogger there. She looked behind the cupboard. She's just checking to see if it went behind there. She searched in the kitchen. Those are all good places to look, aren't they? But she's not finding Dogger. And underneath the stairs, not all houses have this, but some houses have a special closet under the stairs. See, here's the stairs going up. Excuse me. And here's the closet. And she's taken all these things out of the closet and is looking inside to see if she can find Dogger. So there's Mom looking, and there's Bella with one of her teddy bears. And there's Dave, and they both got their pajamas on, and they're all ready for bed, but Dave doesn't want to go to bed without Dogger. Dave watched anxiously through the banisters. Joe watched through the bars of his cot. They're all wondering, where is Dogger? Where could Dogger be? Oh my, look. They're even looking outside in the dark. Bella joined in to look for Dogger. She turned out, here's Bella looking. She turned out her own toy box in case he was in there, but he wasn't. When Dad came home, he looked for Dogger too. He searched in the shed and down the garden path. This is the shed over here. See Dave watching from the window, and Mom and Bella, and Dad's looking here. He searched in the shed and down the garden path with a torch. A torch is another name for a flashlight. But Dogger was quite lost. See, in all that part of the house, they could not find him. He wasn't outside in the backyard, no matter how hard they looked. Dave was very sad when he went to bed. Bella kindly lent him one of her teddies to go to sleep with, but it was not the same thing as Dogger. Dave kept waking up in the night and missing him. He does look very unhappy, doesn't he? Poor Dave. He's really missing his friend, isn't he? We have a really, really big picture here. Okay, so I'm just going to show part of it, and then I'll read the words, and then we'll look at all the details of it. Okay, we'll look at all the parts of this picture. The next day was Saturday, and they all went to the school summer fair. The playing field was full of stalls and sideshows. Okay, so we're going to look down here. We've got some people playing a game. Looks like you have to throw the balls into this basket. Maybe you can win a prize if you can throw the balls into the basket. Can you see that? This is some kind of a hat. You can get hats, maybe to take a picture with or something. And there are things for sale, even dresses and things like that. Looks like they're things that other people have used, but you can buy them. And all these things are going to make some money for the school. This is a fun one. They have coconuts here, and you have to throw the balls at the coconuts and see if you can knock them off. And here is the family. Can you see the family here? Kind of hard to see because there's so many things to see in this picture. But there's Dad and Mom, and here's Dave and Joe in his chair, and there's Bella. Okay. If you go around here, there's some flowers for sale. And here's a place where there are toys for sale. And here is what's called a raffle. See this great big huge teddy bear here? This is a raffle. You buy tickets for the raffle, and if your ticket is chosen, then you would win that great big teddy bear. It's bigger than the children, isn't it? And down here, in this part, they have some wonderful things to eat. People can buy, and some more games. That's funny. There's somebody dressed up looking like a duck, I guess it is. And somebody else dressed up like a cowboy. I guess there are costumes to try on there. Isn't that funny? Well, it looks like a lot of people coming and having a nice time. There was a fancy dress parade. Oh, that's why they had the costumes on. So people wear costumes, and then they choose who's going to win the prize for the best costume. So here's the person wearing the duck costume. This girl has a nice, pretty dress on. What's that person? Can you tell? Clown. This girl's dressed like some kind of a princess fairy or something, right? This boy is dressed all in newspapers. And I know what this girl is. Do you know the story about the little Miss Muffet who sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey? Along came a spider, and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. But I'm very certain that that's just a pretend spider. Otherwise, it would be a very large spider, wouldn't it? And here's some more people who were in the fancy dress parade. This person's dressed like a robot. And this person's some kind of a warrior. He looks like he's dressed like a king. And she's got kind of a traditional Dutch outfit on with wooden clogs. He's got a fancy outfit from Alice in Wonderland, I think. And look at the beautiful umbrella she has there. And a fan, that's very pretty. And this guy right here, he's a pirate. Those are a lot of very fancy costumes, aren't they? Do you like to dress up? It's fun to dress up in clothes that are not your regular clothes, isn't it? Then there were sports with an egg and spoon race, a wheelbarrow race, and a father's race. Let's see if we can look at these races. So the egg and spoon race is the one on top here. You put an egg on top of your spoon, and then you have to run without dropping your egg. Can you see? Some of the children have dropped the egg, haven't they? But the winner is going to be the person who can run without dropping the egg. This guy just dropping it there, and he was almost at the finish line, wasn't he? And then this second line of racers, this is what's called a wheelbarrow race. Two people are in the race. One person is the wheelbarrow, and the other person is pushing the wheelbarrow. Have you ever seen that? Doesn't it look silly? But it can be a fun kind of race. Some people are having an easier time with their wheelbarrows than others, aren't they? And then down at the very bottom is the father's race. So let's look at the fathers that are in the race. Do any of these men look like your father? These are all fathers from the children that are there at the school. Their dads are racing in this father's race. And the children are cheering them on. Yay, Dad! The father's race. That's funny. Bella was very good at races. She won the three-legged race with her friend Barbara. Wouldn't you like to go in for a race? They asked Dave. But Dave didn't feel like racing. He was missing Dogger too much. Then another very exciting thing happened to Bella. She won first prize in a raffle. What did she win for her prize? She won that great big teddy bear, didn't she? It is nearly as big as she is. There's the family watching. Joe and Dad and Mom, they're happy. But Dave is just missing Dogger too much to be very happy. Can you see Dave there? It was a huge yellow teddy bear wearing a beautiful blue silk bow. He was almost as big as Dave. Dave didn't like that teddy at all. that moment, he didn't like Bella much either, because she kept on winning things. He went off on his own to look at the stalls. One lady had a toy stall full of knitted ducks and cars and baby dolls and bonnets. See all the things in the toy stall? And many children there crowded around, aren't they? They're used toys, and the children are bringing their money so that they can buy something. And there, at the very back of the stall, behind a lot of other toys, was Dogger. Oh my. He has a sign on him. That's how much money they want to get for him. 5 pence. That's a kind of money in England. It's like 5 pennies. See, everything here is for sale. This is for 25 pence, and this is 80. This is £1 and 50 pence. But Dogger is just 5 pence because he was quite old. He was wearing a ticket saying 5p. There were a lot of people around the stall. Dave tried to explain to the lady that it was his Dogger who had got lost and somehow been put in the stall by mistake. But she wasn't listening. He looked in his pocket. He had 3 pence, but that wasn't enough. He ran to find Mom and Dad to ask them to buy Dogger back at once. See him trying to explain to the lady? There's all these children around, and Dave comes and he's trying to talk to her and say, hey, that's my Dogger. That's my Dogger. He's there by mistake. But she's not listening because there's so many other children there. And here's Dogger. Do you see this little girl looking at Dogger? Dave went everywhere in the crowd, but he couldn't see Mom and Dad. He thought he was going to cry. At last he found Bella by the cakes. When she heard about Dogger, she and Dave ran back to the toy stall as fast as they could. That was kind of Bella, wasn't it? Oh dear. But something terrible had happened. Dogger had just been bought by a little girl. See, she spent her own money and she bought Dogger. She doesn't know that Dogger belongs to Dave. She just knows there was a cute little dog in the toy stall and she wanted to buy it. She was already walking off with him. Dave began to cry. Yeah, I think that would make lots of children cry, wouldn't it? Bella ran after her and tried to explain that Dogger really belonged to Dave, and could they please buy him back? But the little girl said no. She said that she had bought Dogger with her own money and she wanted him. She held on to him very tightly. Oh my, this is a sad situation, isn't it? What will they do? Dave cried and cried. He's very unhappy. Can you see that? In the picture here, can you tell how unhappy he is? Dave cried and cried, and the little girl started to cry too. She's upset too. She just went and bought a toy. She wasn't trying to hurt anybody. She just bought a toy. She didn't know it belonged to Dave, and now they don't know what to do. But there's Dave crying. But out of the corner of her eye, she caught sight of Bella's big yellow teddy. She stopped crying and put out her hand to stroke his beautiful blue silk bow. Remember, that's the teddy that Bella won in the raffle. The little girl really likes it. Dave's just crying and crying, poor Dave. Then Bella did something very kind. "Would you swap this teddy for my brother's dog then?" she asked. Right away the girl stopped crying and began to smile. She held out Dogger to Dave, took the big teddy instead, and went off with him in her arms. Well, that's a good solution, isn't it? She gets the big teddy. She's very happy about that. And Dave gets Dogger back. Then Dave smiled too. He hugged Dogger and he hugged Bella round the waist. "Thank you, Bella," he said. What does Bella get? The little girl got the big teddy. Dave got Dogger. What does Bella get? Well, she gets a hug, right? But she also gets that nice feeling of having done something kind for somebody. That can be really a special feeling, can't it? Look at this picture. What is Bella doing in her bed? Can you see her? Here's Dave in his bed with Dogger. But what is Bella doing? That night, Dave had Dogger in bed beside him. Bella was practicing somersaults. Do you know how to do a somersault? "Shall you miss that big teddy?" Dave asked her. "No," said Bella. "I didn't like him much, really. He was too big and his eyes were too staring. Anyway, if I had another teddy in my bed, there wouldn't be room for me." Well, that is true. Her bed is very full of teddies, isn't it? It still was a very kind thing that she did. The last picture is the children asleep. Can you see? There's Bella in her bed with all of her teddies. She's asleep. She's done practicing her somersaults. And there's Dave. He's sleeping a lot better this night, isn't he? Because he has his Dogger. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story. I love you.